Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to the TTP Field Manual podcast. I'm Joshy. With me is Jonny. How are you, Jonny?
I'm pretty good. Excited for another episode of Plastic Crack.
That's what we named this little review episode in our documents, Plastic Crack, because it seems very appropriate for how much bloody releases Warhammer's been doing and how exciting everything is, right?
That's it.
So this is off the back of our first part. The first part of this reviewing every Warhammer release of 2025 covered 40k, Kill Team, Necromunda. We split it into A, because we had a lot to talk about for 40k, and B, I was losing my voice.
Yeah.
So here we are again for everything else. No, it will not be split again into a third part, I swear.
We hope.
Hopefully. So if you didn't watch the first part, that's okay. But just to let you know, this episode will not cover 40k, will not cover Kill Team, will not cover Necromunda. We already did those.
Yeah, so why are you asking?
Yeah, why are you asking? Why are you looking at us like that? Were you not even listening? No, I'm just messing with you guys. Before we get into it, show notes, Jonny, what do you got for me?
Go check out the Discord. Go read the book club. That episode should be coming out fairly soon, we're hoping. That Dropsite Massacre. Go do it.
Yeah, we're doing Horus Heresy, Dropsite Massacre. And our Discord, small little community, hoping to get it into a lot more of a buzzing little space. Would be wonderful if you came and helped us out with that vision. Got lots of work in progress photos, chat forums about lists and the like, and a lot of voice channels where people just hop in and out for chit chats. It's good fun.
Hey, if you like Salamanders or Night Lords, that's sure the happening in the Discord at the moment.
It's like a third of our Discord. It's just, so Salamanders.
So Night Lords. No, it's good.
Anyway.
Come show us your works in progress. We're always excited to see it. I need some motivation to get back into painting.
Yeah, same. I just build things. Oh, well. So, speaking of miniatures and painting and building, let's look at more of the options that came about from 2024, Jonny. We're going into big game number 2. Did I not say 2025?
2024. I'm sure the audience will tell us.
I have no idea. We'll fix it in post.
That's it.
So, 2025, big game number 2, Age of Sigmar. Lots of cool stuff. They had something happening just about every month of the year.
It was a pretty big year for them, wasn't it?
Yep. But we'll go through in order, even though there's definitely release waves that we'll spend a little bit more time on and talking a little bit more in depth. But we'll go month by month.
Yeah.
So January started off with a really interesting miniature, a sort of I'm not sure if it's reboxed or redesigned, but an old world miniature that they reboxed for Cities of Sigmar, the Luminarch of Hysh. And this thing looks silly, and I love it.
Oh, this guy.
Yeah.
I forgot about him.
How would I describe him? It's like an astromancer or a astronomer on a weird chariot.
Yeah.
It's definitely got that old, gaudy aesthetic to it. But I don't know, something about it works for me. But I believe it is an old model. So is it really a new release?
Yeah, right. City of Sigmar was never really my style. I get why some people do like it, but it's simple, bit plain. In a fantasy universe, why would you want to play Humies?
For me, I think the Cities of Sigmar works best if you can put all the various pieces together, some of the city dwarves, some of the other elves, but I don't think they're as widely available at the moment. It's mainly the human component.
Yeah.
But that was actually all they did for cities before. Like, anyway, guys, Auric War Clans, yeah?
Yeah.
But even so, there wasn't a whole lot that actually came out for the Auric War Clans. They had their faction terrain, the Boss Rock Tower. They had the Hobgrot Slitter Boss, who seems wildly efficient at killing characters in-game. They had the hilarious spell manifestations, including the Foot.
Oh, I love the Foot.
Yeah, the Foot. We actually, you remember when we first started off the podcast, we had talked about this in one of our very first reaction episodes before it had even came out, and now we're reviewing its release. How cute.
That is cute.
It is cute. I really like the tower. I think it's a lot of fun. I don't like the hobgrot. I think his pose is a bit whack.
I mean, they're hobgoblins, right?
I've never understood the appeal of hobgoblins in anything.
It's like they got goblins, which I understand people's appeal for goblins, and made them gangly and ugly.
Gangly. Yeah, I like cruel boys, but I'm not a huge fan of hobgrots. But if you don't really like cruel boys, that's okay, because the Spearhead box they came out with for this Battle Tome release was just a lot of Iron Jaws. So the Auric War Clans split itself. Also, it brought two halves into one, is what I mean to say.
Yeah.
They brought the Cruel Boys and they brought the Iron Jaws. And the Spearhead that came out was all Iron Jaws. And apparently, in Spearhead, they're really good.
Nice.
I like that there are two separate styles of the box, but really that was all they had actually happen in the start of the year. Except they did come up with Path to Glory, the Ravaged Coast, which is the Sigmar version of Crusade. And it seems like they have a little bit more going on, from like a custom rules, custom characters, upgrade tables and charts, that kind of stuff. A lot of people really reviewed that well, so that's nice to see. Anything you want to say about this that hasn't been said before, Johnny?
I mean, not particularly. It's goblins and humans.
Do you want more goblins, Johnny?
Or goblins. Nah.
Nah. No. Are we going to skip February then?
No, we can talk about the Gloomspite Gits.
The Gloomspite Gits came out with a new sub-faction, the Sun Gits?
Yeah,
Wolf Gits?
Snarly
Pack
boys.
Gits? It's goblins, but they ride wolves in the bright desert of sun. They came out with a good amount of new units, including their big epic hero Drog's Da Sun Chomper. We had Snarlboss and Wolfgit Retinue, Snarlboss on Warwheeler, Sun Stealer Wheelers, the Snarlpack Cavalry, and the Doom Diver Catapult. I feel like I said a few words there a few times.
Yes, you sure did.
What did you think of this release window?
I kind of digged Drogs. I know I just, shit all over goblins and all of that, but I think Drogs to Sun Chompers are pretty cool, dude. Unfortunately, I don't know a lot about AOS to theoretically be able to talk about rules or anything like that. But when I look at models, I'm looking at that rule of cool, And wolves working alongside goblins is pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of this episode will come down to how we view the rule of cool of these miniatures. Our last episode of 40k was a lot more involved with the rules and economy and ecosystem of the game as well. But here we are out in the wilds being like, what's this? What's that? Do we like this? I guess so.
Yeah. And you know what? These guys are pretty cool. If I was going to build Destruction, I'm not really sure if I would build into Gloomspite Gits, but I definitely know that some people love the aesthetic of them. And if you're after that aesthetic, then these guys are pretty cool.
I'm a big fan of the Doom Diver Catapult. I think the concept and execution of that model is fantastic. But a few goblins having this big old makeshift catapult, it's huge. And they're flinging goblins on fabric wings through the air. It's peak goblin energy. I love it. I'm not a huge fan, I guess, of the rest of the Sunstealer aesthetic, but I do love goblin shenanigans like that Doom Diver.
And it is very goblin shenanigans.
Will say, though, in the same month, they did release a Warhammer Underworlds band to sort of go alongside the Gloomspite, and it was named Borgit's Beast Grabbers. And I love this guy, this little group. If I was to pick up an Underworlds band, I would highly consider these guys. Every model has got such fantastic character to them. One of the models is just two goblins wearing a squig pelt to emulate being a much bigger squig. And that's just one of the models. Another one has a large crescent moon-esque, I guess you could say like grabber claw, but they have a very tiny goblin sitting in it like the DreamWorks moon guy.
Yeah.
Borget's Beast Grabbers. I think they are the cutest little band of goblins I've ever seen, and might be my favorite Underworlds band that I've seen in some time.
That's crazy.
That I would say such a thing.
Yeah. That you would fall in love with the gobbos.
Yeah, right. Who would have seen that coming after recent episodes of How?
Right.
Right. So destruction, cool. Props to them. But now we have something that's a little bit more up your alley. The months went by and we got some Death Rattle stuff. The Soulblight Grave Lords got a sub-faction expansion in the Death Rattles, the skeletal undead foot soldiery of the Vampire Lords.
You say more in my alley. There is one model in this release that I thought was absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I was teeing you up to say that. So,
yes.
The Death Rattle army set came out about a month later. We had the full release wave where we had the model you were mentioning, Prince Vordry, on his very large undead dragon.
That undead dragon's so cool.
Yeah. We had the Blades of the Hollow King, which is a Black Library unit or a Black Library character unit, but it looks really cool. 3 very distinct characters forming a unit. We had the Vampire Lord on Nightmare Steed. We had the White King and Jewel Kit White Lord on Skeletal Steed. We had Barrow Knights, Barrow Guard, Death Rattle Skeletons. We had the Manifestations, of course, which includes Big Hand, and had one of my favorite faction terrains I've seen, the Cursed Sepulchre Cross Kit Nexus of Grief. I really like those buildings, man.
This was honestly this was a very good release wave. The cemetery buildings are very cute. It was a very big release wave for Death Rattle and had some very cool pieces in it. But I mean, Undead Dragon being ridden by a vampire, it's right up my alley.
$330 though. What the
heck? Don't tell me the price.
Man, that's such a beautiful model. Prince Vordry. I almost voted Prince Vordry as my Age of Sigmar model of the year. I didn't, but I almost did.
I did?
That's fair.
Because this guy is sick.
I really like Blood Knights, Vampire Knight Cavalry. If I did Soul Blights, I'd probably want to lean into them, which I think is Prince Vordry's subsection of the faction. But I have to admit, whatever's going on with Mr. Kato Izakaya, Mr. Hollow King himself, I'm down for it. I wonder how he fits into the faction.
You'd have to read up and do some lore digging, eh?
Hey, guess who writes Kato Izakaya's novels?
Dan Abnett?
Nay, John French.
Oh, John Frenchy.
John Frenchy, writer of this month's book club, The Dropsite Massacre.
Go and read it if you haven't.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. With this time, they also brought out another Underworlds warband. Underworlds has been really just sneaking itself in. We had Knives of the Crone, a Daughters of Cain warband.
Yeah, we still haven't played.
We still haven't played it, but Knives of the Crone, a Daughters of Cain warband. Lots of bare feet, if that's your thing.
Oh, I'm not a big fan of the toe beans.
This warband, I really like that there is some Daughters of Cain representation, and especially that they're going down the Crone Seer aesthetic, which Krathazar the Crone Seer is one of my favorite models of all time. The foot soldiery, though, here, I'm less into. I think after Borget's Beast Grabbers, they needed to do a little bit more with the Knives of the Crone, if I'm being honest. What I will say, though, is every couple of months doing a Warhammer Underworlds band's really nice, because they also tend to release a new deck alongside these warbands. And so there's not just model support, but also the card mechanic support for Underworlds, which is really neat.
Underworlds has been getting a lot of support, and I'm here for it.
I know you are. What if I told you I own 2 Underworlds bands right now?
I would ask why I don't. Well,
the 2 that I have is a Sylvaneth one and a Cruel Boys one. Do you want one of those?
Not really.
Okay, moving on.
Well, my Disciples of Tzeentch warband.
All right, go get it then.
Don't threaten me.
I am threatening you. Go get
We
it.
need the starter set for the board.
Go get a board.
Get a board, he says.
Go get a board. Go buy a box. Come on. Next up, after the death rattle, after the gits, a little bit quiet, but we did have an expansion of the competitive scene with General's Handbook 2526. Always good to see some love for the game's ecosystem. But, and this is what really, perked our ears up, a Spearhead expansion or a new installment in Spearhead, a little box set called Sand and Bone, which had a new board, some little terrain pieces, a couple of new mechanics to Spearhead, some missions, but also a quadruple release of Spearheads to tie into it with a Seraphod one, a Cities of Sigmar one, an Ossiarch Bone Reapers one, and a Ogre More Tribes one.
Hey, we can't all win, all right?
What do you think of this approach to their smaller game mode? A whole box that you have to buy to, without home brewing stuff and printing out cards like we did. How do you feel about putting a board and relevant terrain pieces and relevant card material in a box besides buying Spearheads?
I'm not the biggest fan of it. I get why they do it, but they should at least have another way for us to get our hands on it outside of, proxying stuff. But I mean, with how open access the internet is nowadays, it's not hard to find a solution. Like, how quickly did we find a solution to getting in a game of Spearhead?
Yeah, you printed cards out in MTG size, put them in sleeves, and then we just proxy some of our 40k walls.
Why don't they just have a paper perforated cutout in each of the spearheads? It's like, here's some spearhead cards. They won't last forever, but at least they're relevant at the time, right?
One can only hope they do that in the future. Will they? I don't know.
but I mean, starter sets are pretty normal for what GW does. Like, this is just the way of it. The same with 40k and mission decks, right?
Yeah. One thing that, can be said to Spearhead's credit, though, is the games are quick. If you bought this box, which in Australia is 117 Australian dollars at full price, little icky, but if you had even just 2 people playing, you split that down the middle, and you could get easily 2 or 3 games in of an afternoon. And if you have more people, more games, and over time, it wouldn't be that expensive compared to just buying another game starter set, I feel.
When you look at the cost of a Spearhead as well, it's fine.
It's fine. It's all right. But following this little expansion in the middle of the year, we then started to get the 40k release wave energy with 3 Battletome releases in a month. We had Idenef Deepkin, Blades of Khorne, and Karajon Overlords in the same month. Idenef Deepkin came out with a dual build of Icon of the Sea and Icon of the Storm, the Mathalia Oracle of the Abyss epic character, the Idenef Deepkin huge primordial incarnate manifestation, new Spearhead, of course, with the glorious Achillean king on his big eel dragon. Blades of Khorne had the Oops All Doggies Spearhead box, which did include the Warcry Bear and Claws of Karanak. It did re-release, I think, one of their first edition sets, the Goreblade Warband, which I was not expecting. And we start to see some regiments of Renown boxes start to pop up with the Red Revelation, something you could slot into other armies, and of course your loves, Karajon Overlords.
Yeah, man, I got this one.
You got this one?
Yeah, I got this one. I bought it.
That's it. That's the review. I bought it. It's good. It's the one thing
Must
you bought.
Be decent. I got the Grundstock Trailblazers.
Sorry, one more time.
Grundstock Trailblazers. Drekkies, Privateers. Nah, this was cool. I still got to pick myself up a Zontari Dock and some Vongrans, but this made me swing heavily into steampunk dwarves and away from chaos. So this was a huge month. I remember seeing these spoilers popping up and reacting. This was sick. We got, IDK and KO in the same month, which are the 2 armies that you and I both play.
Yep.
It was enough to drive us to a point where we tried Spearhead late last year, and had a blast with it, frankly, for the one game that we played. And I mean, with all of the Karanak issues in 40k and the index and blah, 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 it was cool to see them. Honestly, it's cool to see a lot of AOS Chaos armies leaning into the demons a little more, considering 40k seems to be moving away from demons.
Unfortunately, but yes.
This was a fun month.
Another Underworlds band came out, and this one definitely raised an eyebrow from me. Do you have much to say about Kamandora's Blades, a Blades of Khorne warband?
Really, no.
Have you taken a close look at these models?
I can't say I have.
You should do it real quick.
What are they called?
Kamandora. Kamandora.
I don't think I've looked closely at these guys. Oh, that's why. Because they look boring as all fuck.
The heads, though.
The heads are fucking weird. Why are they all so yelly? Why have they got the Joker scar lines?
I'm here for the little bulldog in the background.
That's cute, right? Quite literally a bulldog.
Yeah, I don't know about this one. I don't know about this one. I know that sometimes you got to get these and paint them yourself and see them in 3 dimensions to get the full impact, but
yeah,
I don't know. I know there are some people that like them and have done some light kit bash and some better paint jobs, but as displayed here, I could have used an Ironess warband or something instead.
Yeah, for sure.
But the release train keeps on for a good while. Next month from here, so we're getting into August now, we had both the Flesh Eater Courts and the Nighthaunts get their Battle Tome releases with singular character releases, High Falconer Felgrin for Feki and Lord Vitriolic for Nighthaunt. There were a couple of character releases from previous discount boxes, new Spearheads, a couple of Regiments of Renown still popping up here and there as limited releases, like half-ish the price of a Spearhead, but definitely a unique collection of units. It's good. That's 5 battle tomes in 2 months.
Yep. This was pretty big.
The Spearhead for Nighthaunt, the Shackle Horde. Is it too much Horde, Johnny?
There's no such thing.
You've seen this box, right? The Shackle Horde.
The Shackle Horde? Yeah. This one I'm very aware of, and the answer is how many bed sheets can you fit in one army, right? I don't know, I'm here for it. I'd honestly be okay with having this Spearhead, just a bunch of random dudes running around.
All right, fantastic.
I do kind of like the aesthetic of the Nighthaunt, I won't lie.
I really like Nighthaunt as well, not for a whole army, but certain models in the faction are just some of my favorite models, such as the Black Coach.
I was going to say, is it the Coach?
Of course it's the Coach.
Of course it's the Coach.
Of course.
You have a thing for coaches.
Do I? The Luminarch of Heesh. But a couple of these releases were quite slim because the budget went into making a whole new faction, Johnny.
Which came out of nowhere, and frankly I had no idea existed previously because I'm not in that universe. But welcome to the Helmets of Hashut.
One more time, Johnny.
The Helmets of Hashut.
The Helsmiths, Johnny.
Yeah, those ones. Hey, you can't lie. They're all wearing helmets.
Thank God for that. No hat, no play, you know?
That's it. You're going to war. Put a bloody helmet on.
Put a hat on. You get sniped in the head by a Vindicare unless they roll a 1 to hit. Come on. So, Helsmiths of Hashut came out with the steel chair. We're just like, you want to buy me? Whack. You want to buy me? Whack. You want to start a new faction? It's me. Whack. To a lot of our friends. And then a lot of our friends were like, we'll wait. once the hype
I feel
died
like
down.
3 people were all over the idea of this, and then none of them actually pulled the trigger.
Which is fine. No worries.
Yeah.
It's good to see that people liked this en masse, though. And I don't blame them. We had quite a lot of units come out for them. There's 11 listings in their official store page. One of them is, of course, the Battle Tome. One of them is, of course, the Spearhead. But most of these units actually are dual builds or multiple loadouts. The big leader, Auric Tar, can also be built as just Demon Smith on the Infernal Taurus Dragon Bull thing. The Demon Smith can be built as an Ashen Elder, War Despots by himself. We got Bull Centaurs that are also Anointed Sentinels. The Infernal Cohort, which is their infantry, have a couple of loadouts. The Dominator Engine Big Bull Dreadnought has a melee build and a ranged build. Their Big Artillery piece has 2 loadout types. Their Ranged Infantry has a couple of loadout types. And then, for fun, there's a unit of Hobgrots, I guess.
Hey, 40k, this is how you do a release wave for a new army.
Good stuff.
Not whatever you did to Emperor's Children.
People keep asking when I'm going to do Emperor's Children, Johnny, and I'm like, I'm not.
When they have models.
When demons come back, Johnny. But I was quite taken aback by the quality of this army.
Yeah, it looks very nice. There's a lot of cohesion. The big things look very cool.
And the spearhead looks good. There's variety of units. There are bigger models, character models. It's really neat. Do you have a couple of favorite units from this release?
I'm a big fan of the war engine. The big guy, the big like Minotaur looking dude.
Yeah.
That's my go-to. I think he's sick. Like, how do you go wrong with the giant Minotaur war engine? And also the artillery piece. The artillery piece is super cool.
Yeah. When I saw that artillery piece, I was like, can it be Krieg? Can it be Kriegified?
Surely.
But the Demon Smith riding the big mechanical bull?
Dragon thing.
Yeah, so the main character can summon a big storm cloud with his big stick, but the non-epic build also just looks really good. A couple of banners to bring the height up as well of the model. And the official color scheme they went with for the non-epic version just gives me Spyro the Dragon energy with the dragons trapped in crystal. And so I gotta like it.
Yeah, for sure.
But besides that, I do actually really like the centaurs, actually. I think they're really neat.
The centaurs are pretty cool.
But yeah, anything else you want to mention about Helsmiths of Hashut? Or sorry, the Helmets of Hashut?
The helmets, because they're wearing their helmets.
The Chaos Dwarves?
Not particularly. It's a decent army release wave. What more is there to say?
Of all the armies they released this year, Space Wolves and these guys really demonstrated
that they know what they're doing.
They also came out with a commemorative model this month, Urkhan the Dark Warden, and I feel like I saw work-in-progress shots of this fellow all over the internet. Just a classic Chaos Lord. That was fun. But following this month, actually same month, we had the Spitewood expansion for Underworlds, where they actually released a new board with a couple of new ways to play the game, but they also brought with it Sylvaneth Centaur warriors versing a Helsmiths of Hashut little warband. And I thought, wow, that's really neat. I love those.
I was here for the centaurs. They're so cool.
I also was here for it, but I was wondering if you needed to buy the base game for this to work, and they seem to encourage it, which I don't love. Why do you need to buy one board to have the other board? I don't know. It could be a marketing ploy. I don't know. I don't know much about it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure either. It's probably that there's stuff in the starter set that's not in this to save on box space.
Yeah, maybe.
Things like tokens and whatever, like the more generic stuff.
You're probably right.
Whereas this box would have all of the stuff that's specific to these guys.
But Johnny, you know what else came out alongside this expansion set? 4 more of those multi-packs.
Oh, that's right. Yep. And the Chaos one was not as cool as the first one.
No, but I was here for the Order one.
The Order one was pretty cool. Mm-hmm.
The Order one had like 3 factions I'm interested in one box. But with this release and the release of the other quad kits the year or so beforehand, that gives you access to 32 warbands of old, and I can't think of many skirmish or specialist games in their range that offers something even remotely similar to that support of their older stuff.
Underworlds seems like they have pushed it really hard, and I haven't done enough research to know if the community is engaging with it or if it's a waste of their time.
I think waste might be a stretch, but I think it's definitely more of a niche game compared to, say, what Warcry was, which was just model v model. This one, you got deck building, got board gaming. It's not everyone's cup of tea.
I hope that it gets the love that it deserves, because the game looks fun. Although we can't really say that when we haven't even tried it.
Speaking of another game that we haven't tried, so Underworlds and Helsmiths came out in October. Nothing else really came out until December with Warhammer Quest Darkwater, Jonny.
It's just so expensive. And with poor Zachy refusing to play any sort of RPG with us.
He's going to send you a bad message.
Good. He has to wait for this episode to come out first. That's if you don't cut it.
I'll leave it in. I'll leave it in post.
Damn straight. He needs to know that we want to play games with him.
From what I've gathered, Warhammer Quest Darkwater plays a little less like the Hero Quest aesthetic of older Warhammer quests such as Blackstone and Curse City, and a little closer towards how Underworlds plays. So, yeah.
I don't necessarily see this as a bad thing.
No, take with that as you will.
I just don't know enough about Underworlds to be able to make that judgment yet.
We did have a bit of a lengthier discussion of Warhammer Quest Darkwater in the reveal show reaction when they announced all of that. I think it was whatever came out in November. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but we talked a lot about it there towards the end. I remember that.
We sure did.
But really cool product. Really cool product. I think we had a big concern about the spine of the book splitting with use, and there's definitely been some cases of that posted to Reddit.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I've handled the book myself, actually, in our local shop. I've felt the paper, I've looked through it, and the paper is a lot more thicker and sturdy than I was expecting. And so I wouldn't be too surprised if the poor gluing in the spine was potentially a defect. And if so, if you are in that boat, reach out to Warhammer themselves, their community support, talk to them about it.
They're pretty good for that sort of stuff.
Yeah. As well, Jonny, in this month, we had another Path to Glory supplement, the Blighted Wilds. And it's more of the same, narrative missions, custom stuff. But let me tell you, this expansion has two sections you would be interested in: custom faction terrain rules and custom regiment of renown rules.
Custom regiments?
Imagine making your own detachment.
How does that work?
So regiments of renown is the group of units you get to put into other allied factions to your faction. So that, I don't know exactly how it would look, but it's definitely something I would like to look into later in the future and see what they did with that, because that's really cool. Making your own sort of soup rules, allied rules, that's really neat.
Yeah.
I know 40k doesn't give a damn about terrain for factions anymore, but Age of Sigmar does, so I'd be really intrigued to see what they did with that, if they looked at footprints, if they looked at sort of different aura abilities that you get to pick and choose. Yeah, I would love to find a PDF of that. I mean, I'd love to buy it in the shop.
I really enjoy that they do exactly that. Like, I'm glad that faction terrain still has a use somewhere in the economy.
Argent shards, my beloved.
They're so cool. But that's not something we're talking about today. They're next year's problem.
To round out Age of Sigmar and all of its various games, though, we've been sprinkling Underworlds into all of this. We just had a brief mention of Warhammer Quest, which was their big ticket item at the end of the year. Warcry, the elephant in the room. It's their kill team skirmish equivalent. Oh, sorry, I didn't silence my phone. So Warcry has been receiving online PDF support throughout the year, with even Helsmiths getting a PDF to be like, hey, this is how you can run them in Warcry. But there hasn't been any official releases. No new Warcry bands particularly.
Yeah, they're on the back burner.
No boxes of rules and terrain like yesteryear. So everyone's a bit like, what's happening with Warcry? And we just don't know.
One day we might know.
One day we might. But that's big two. Age of Sigmar and all its
Electric Boogaloo.
and all of its electric boogaloos. Good year, eh?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. You could definitely see some similarities in the amount of releases between Warhammer 40k and AOS being their two main games, right? Two of the three. And Underworlds looks like it's had a lot of love and support over the last couple of years, which is fantastic to see these like smaller games getting some support, and looks like it may be becoming a replacement for Warcry, but without knowing officially what's happening with Warcry, we just can't tell. The thing that always draws me to AOS in general is the big fancy models, and there were some big fancy models this year, and it's pretty cool to see.
Old Prince Vordry, hey?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Let us move along to Big Three. Horus Heresy, Jonny.
Big Three Horus Heresy?
That's it. Big Three Horus Heresy, halfway through the year, 3rd edition. Horus Heresy 3, Big Three. Got it. So, before getting into what I just said, we start the year pretty strong. The first half of the year had a lot of individual kits and a couple little discount boxes. Mechanicum got a lot of their older resin stuff brought back into plastic. The Mechanicum Heavy Support Force. And the Arcuita Magisterium, the Secretari Axiarch, couple of, very long names just to say Mechanicum character. We actually mentioned that at the 2024 Plastic Crack, but my bad. It was just previewed. It came out 2025. So Mechanicum got a lot of love. With a bit later, they had the stuff in the Heavy Support Force released solo, the Carachnus Assault Tank, the Krios Battle Tank, which could also be the Vanator, the big robot, Thanator Calyx Siege, their little doggy robots, the Ursarax cohort. Good stuff. But we still got, of course, Space Marine love. The Iron Hands received their Legion Praetor, which is, I'm not sure if it's a lieutenant or a captain, proxy or equivalent. But he's very cool. Lots of mechadendrites and looks like half of a computer. The Iron Warriors Warsmith, Jonny. Oh, mate.
This guy's sick.
Very cool. Big hammer.
Big hammer. The Iron Warriors love is real.
Fortunately, it's in resin. The Caster of Runes for the Space Wolves. Now, keep in mind, everyone, it's the Caster of Runes. It's not Psychers. It's not Psychic. It's the Caster of Runes. Space Wolves don't have Psychers. They don't allow Psych. It's runes. It's weird powers.
Mate.
Get it right.
Yeah, it is weird powers.
WYRD.
No, it's psychic without the keyword.
I see.
Except I think they still get the keyword, don't they?
Probably. So, in addition to these 3 unique Legion characters, we got lots of consoles. We got Loyalists, Heralds and Overseers, which look like Ancients and Chaplains, respectively. We also had the Trader version. So 4 unique characters, 2 holding banners and 2 whipping people into service. The Trader Overseer looks really neat with a big evil whip and a horned demonic mask. I like him a lot.
Yeah, he's sick. HH models are on fire.
Yeah, right. We also got a couple of Loyalist epic characters coming out of the history of the Black Books, which were earlier Heresy development stuff by Forge World, where they were able to create battlefields and characters to populate these events. And nowadays we get to receive them properly with big money support. We got Katie's Next, the Bloodcrow. That name probably should sound a little familiar to you now, Jonny.
It sure does.
It sure does. And Aster Crone, the Shroud Maker for the Blood Angels. Doing well, aren't we?
Yeah.
The drip in Heresy characters is unmatched.
It's so good.
So good. I'm a huge fan. And then when you look at the Heresy range having over 500 individual listings of products, you're like, wow, I should look more into this. In fact, I do semi-regularly. But
Same.
But leading up to the big box of the year, we did get some artillery stuff and support weaponry stuff in the form of the rapier batteries, which is a few dudes escorting baby tanks around the board with laser destroyers, quad launchers, heavy bolters, graviton cannons, all receiving training wheels and being taken for a walk across Isfahan, I suppose. As well, tarantulas.
Ouch.
Spiders, one might think. No, it's just defense weapons. But they look cool.
That was good.
Thank you. I thought it was just such a dad joke, but here you are cackling.
That makes it a dad joke, right?
True.
I wouldn't laugh if it was actually funny.
True. I really like this push to have not only, dreadnoughts with their various loadouts or weapon upgrade kits for infantry, or, named characters, but just little things like, oh, here's a fire support team. Here's a random artillery. There's not even a dude in it. It's just there, it's just a sentry gun. Like, there's just so many little things. I love it.
They've done a very good job.
But they did an even better job in July, Johnny.
Oh. This was very, very nice, and I still look at these models weekly as do I pull the trigger?
I agree, and I have had the same thoughts.
Because we got the SATURNINE release for the release of 3rd edition. And who doesn't like Terminators with huge shoulders?
Man, I don't have enough words to express my adoration and love for this box set. And I know it's frighteningly expensive, and I know it's got to pad out with rulebooks and such, but the models, man, they're all bloody new or reimagined, and they all slap.
Yeah, they do.
SATURNINE Praetor, SATURNINE Terminators, SATURNINE Dreadnoughts, the Mark II fellows with disintegrator weaponry. By the way, we have disintegrator weapons now. The Arachne Quad Accelerator platform, which is huge, by the way. That's a big spider.
Yep.
The Mark II Legionaries, the Centurion in Mark II play. Oh, man. They're all so good. They're also gritty and grungy and dirty and, yeah.
This box was incredible. This whole release was great. And as you said, if it wasn't so goddamn expensive.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Were you to split this, are you going with the Mark II Painted Iron Warriors half of the box or the Salamander SATURNINE half?
Jokes. It's the SATURNINE Iron Warriors half, you mean?
Yeah, you see, this is my issue I have. You see this box and it's Army v Army, but everyone who buys this box wants the SATURNINE half.
So how do you split it?
Right? Unless you sort of pick and choose, like, well, I'll take the Terminator squad, or we can take 3 each, but then it's like, well, who gets the eldest big son, and who gets shiny young son, Praetor and Dreadnought? Like, how do you split it?
Yeah, I don't know if this box is splittable.
No, but if you bought this box for yourself and you bought the 2nd edition box set for yourself, you would have a whole army. There's that many models. You wouldn't need to buy. You wouldn't need to buy anything else.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic.
Really cool. Which is your favorite model from this box set?
Probably the Praetor. I'm a big fan of that SATURNINE Praetor, and I've almost bought one multiple times.
Yeah, very fair. I understand.
Just so I can kit bash it into some chaosy goodness. It's got so much drip potential.
The drip is ungodly. How did they lose the massacre? Read the book, find out.
We're going back there already, are we? That and the big SATURNINE Dread is also very cool.
I love the Dread, and now that you can buy it individually, there are multiple loadout options that you can also buy because there's lots of things to equip it with. And magnets are gonna be your bestie boy. Honorable mention: the Arachne Quad. Something about really big turret gets me.
It is a big turret. My problem is it's a turret.
Yeah,
means it sits there.
I want to play a game where big turret is actually something to be concerned about, and not whatever's going on with fire strikes. Moving on. So with this release, we did get updated Liber army books for most of the factions they've been supporting. We had the Loyalist Astartes, the Traitor Astartes, the Auxiliae, the Mechanicum, and even the Questoris Knights, or the Knights, however they label them. That's 5 factions all ready to go. There you go, buy a book. There, that's your rules. With certain sub-factions or lesser-known factions receiving PDF support very soon after, including the Black Shields and the Shattered Legions. We saw this being the sort of starting point for a lot of those old world style $50 magazine-sized journals, which are really well done. Bit of lore, bit of rules, bit of missions. It's good.
Yeah, you're pretty interested in these, eh? Just to read them for some of the lore.
I would love to pick up one of these and do a whole episode explaining what on earth the SATURNINE stuff is, the SATURNINE enclaves, the SATURNINE scientists, all that lore side. I'm really interested in that, actually. Yeah. But look, we didn't get too much more, actually. Not that, I'm complaining with Heresy, but we did get the tank, Johnny. The tank.
Yeah, well, you're welcome.
We got the tank.
We did. The Fellblade Super Heavy.
The Fellblade Super Heavy alt build Falchion. We've got one each.
Which we still haven't played a game.
To be fair, we haven't played a game full stop since we acquired them.
Yeah, he's gathering dust on my desk.
I have a headcanon for my Falchion. Yeah, it's being piloted by Iron Hand named Casterman Orth.
I don't know who that is.
The Iron Hand's character in the book we've been reading. Driving his tank around.
I know. I was just joking.
Gosh, this guy. Everyone. This bloody Johnny here.
Gotta rile you up, alright?
It's working.
I read the book, alright?
Which I was confused about when you're like, I don't know who that is. Anyway.
I read the book in a week, alright?
So we had the Fellblade, we had the Mark II Assault Squad, we had another Journal Tactica, the Forges of Saturn, yes please. And then, the last big releases for Heresy for the year, Combat Forces, Johnny.
Yeah, man.
What a great idea.
It's like they did it in other games and were like, hey, why don't we do that?
It's a really good idea.
But, I love that they just have to change the name slightly.
Yeah.
They're not combat patrols, they're combat forces.
I mean, if you called it combat patrols, a lot of people would probably buy them, not realizing the title difference and the different games. It would happen. But it is so funny.
Oh, and I get it. No, you got to have a different name for each of your game types, right? The same reason we have Spearhead.
They could have called these combat kill teams.
Oh. Kill team patrols.
On the flip side of Heresy, we got Legions, the epic scale, much smaller minis, but you can play tremendously large wars because every mini you have is really small. And you can have whole tank forces and Titan forces. And to be fair, they didn't really do too much with this game besides releasing everything from Heresy but small. At the end of the year, they also did Combat Forces, which is hilarious to see hundreds of models per box.
Yeah. People were definitely confused by this on the Reddit.
Yeah. Wow, how can I get so many models for this price? And everyone's like, brother. They're small. But yes, they have also been doing their own little journal books, the little $50 magazine size ones, with the most recent one being in December, actually, called, sorry, Zach, The Ruin of the Salamanders. What? In August, they did have a huge content update in the form of their Liber Strategia, which updates a lot of their rule stuff from their earlier rulebooks with modernizing various detachments and formations across all their factions, adding some new data sheets, offering some new ways of doing tokens and objective markers. Like it's there, it's going. It's just not a whole lot of stuff to make small.
My problem is they make things small, you lose all the details.
Just get steadier hands, mate.
No, the literal model loses details.
I'm scared to paint these, but I'm actually kind of interested because you can have a lot of models really quickly.
I think it'd be a lot of fun to play a game of. It looks like an interesting format, at least. Like, it plays a little like Kill Team and a little like the old Imperialis space sort of game where you kind of decide what kind of movement your dudes are going to do beforehand using like tokens that have preset like movement paths, and then you just reveal them one at a time back and forth. It's kind of interesting.
The starter set is cheaper than the Horus Heresy, but you get 223 miniatures. But they're all very small.
It's so crazy to see the box be like, there's hundreds of miniatures in this box. And you're like, why is it such a good deal?
Like 4 of them are dudes fitting on a base the size of the dice.
It's crazy.
I would love to give this a whirl with Auxiliary tank spam. Give me so many Baneblades, it's uncomfortable.
Meanwhile, I'm like, you mean I can actually play a Warlord Titan?
Yeah, I know. Oh, but that's big 3, Johnny. Heresy and Legions. Keen, eh?
Yeah, right?
Exciting.
What do you got left for us? It's just books at this point, right?
Ha ha. Do we want to detour to books before we come back to round us all off?
No, we can go to Big 4,
Big
I guess.
4, the old world. Look, there's not a whole lot to reasonably say about the old world for individual factions. Every faction they bring back to life is predominantly old stuff. A lot of their units will get a plastic version, which is really nice to see. We want more of that. But then they'll have these selections of, resin characters. There'll be really old aesthetic monsters and vehicles that are, sometimes actually made of the metal they used for old miniatures. So metal miniatures are still being sold. Occasionally they do made to order stuff, which is like the real deep cut old miniatures. But let's look at what they did. Start of the year, Faction 6 to be brought back into modernity. Empire of Man. Lots of things. We got the steam tank, wizard and general on Griffin is actually pretty cool. Lots of wizard characters. It's nice. I don't particularly like Empire of Man. I think they look a little silly. Although I think the silliness they actually lean into, they have a character named General Hans von Leeuwenhoek,
which is crazy to me.
Who just sounds like a good time. The next month, they were like, High Elves are here too. Again, journals, battalions, lots of archers, lots of chariots, lots of characters. I'm a big fan of the Lord of Trass and Ishaya Bess. There are high elves on dragons, which that looks fun. There's reavers, swordmasters, white lions, bolt throwers, a merworm, I guess. Why not? But yeah, lots of various materials, and then throughout the year they're like, do you want more high elves? Lothern Sea Guard, Phoenix Guards, Sisters of Avalon, Flamespire Phoenix, and then a couple months later, like, you wanted more? Here's Dragon Princes, Elven Archers, Spearmen, more Chariots, more Sky People. Like, High Elf went nuts, dude.
Yeah.
And then a few months later, they're like,
I feel like I was seeing High Elves for a while.
They had like 4 release windows just for them. And then in May, they're like, Wood Elves time, yeah? Not as much as High Elves.
Yeah.
I think they're a little bit older overall, but again, battalions, metal characters, Noble on Dragon, might be the funniest mini I've seen in a long time. Noble on Dragon. Oh, sorry.
Just Noble on
Wood
Dragon.
Elf Noble on Forest Dragon. This is going to give you throwback energy.
I'm all here for the nostalgia.
I actually like it. But it's metal. What glue do I even use for that, Johnny?
Oh, God. Super glue. Hate that.
Not even a minute ago, you're like, I'm here for it. And now you're like, I hate that. So there's a Wood Elf kit that I think you will hate more. Look up the Wood Elf Beast Pack. I have nothing good to say about this kit, except there's a lot of minis.
I'm also not.
What the shit is that?
Can't imagine how this could be a good thing. Multi-part metal kit.
Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Why do they all have Chad chins?
I'm not meaning the fucking animals, dude.
The bear looks okay.
Bear's one of
the pigs. The pigs are, they're all right. The dogs, what happened there?
Like they don't all land. They don't all land. But like as I was saying, you know, I think these are a little bit older of a faction. I think High Elves did really quite well in the transition from Once Upon a Time to now. Like for example, look at the Archmage on Dragon, which I think might be...
Stop making me look at these awful models.
I think it might be Lord on Dragon, is what it's listed as. I don't hate it. I think it looks kind of fun.
Better not be another spindly, weird dragon.
It's an old world dragon, of course it is.
Couldn't they make fat dragons? Oh, that guy. Okay, it's not as bad. That's what I was expecting when you mentioned it, the first one.
So I like the High Elves. I think they did well.
I can get behind this guy.
So after Wood Elves, they did yet more High Elves.
Because High
In the
Elves
same
slapped.
month, I'm a big fan of Arcane Frogs. Arcane Frogs.
Arcane Frogs.
So silly.
Yep.
It's so silly. After this, like literally the next month from Wood Elves, we had the Beastman Brayherds with a lot of resin, the Prophet of the Ruin, Doomball, Cockatrice, Jabberslithe. We had a lot of plastic kits, which was their sort of battalion stuff, Chieftains, Bray Shamans, Ungors, Gors, Bestigors, and Cygors. I said 4 different units just then.
Somehow. Are you sure?
In metal, they had Centaurs, Centaur Lord, Brayherds, Tusk Gore. Gore just means Beast Man, by the way, I believe.
Yeah.
But I do have in my notes, what the fuck is this next to Razor Gores? This is a pig that went wrong. Razor Gore.
Oh, I'm looking it up. Don't you worry.
What the fuck is that?
You are correct.
I feel like I'm looking at a really bad animation. Its tail is making me uncomfortable. It looks like a strange appendage that's a little too veinous and thick for my liking.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to say it. I'm glad you did it.
But Johnny, it's all redeemed. Beastmen and Wood Elves cannot harm us anymore because we got Grand Carthay, Johnny.
Man, the only army I considered for a moment.
Woohoo! Grand Carthay. They did have a couple of release windows, but we got
spread throughout the year.
Yeah, we got heaps of stuff for them. We got Jade Warriors, Lancers, couple of battalions, big cannon, sky lanterns, big sentinels, couple of masters on their dragons and horses. It's actually kind of it. But we also had my beloved Mao Ying, who is somehow cheaper than a sky lantern, which says wonders for how large that thing is.
Sky lanterns are so cool. I'm a big fan of giant statues that move. Yeah, the epic hero is absolutely gorgeous. Mao Ying in both forms is pretty cool.
Unbelievable. And then, after all of this, after 5 factions came out, they're like, cool, anyway, here's some matched play guidebook. Here are a couple of arcane journals. They had like one in going back November with the raising of Westerland for the Chaos Marauder reinforcements. They, brought in some of those frozen tribes. The month before that, they had the War of Setra's Fury journal, which brought in some more Tomb King units and rules, which are, I think, very nice models. The Lich Priests and the Royal Heralds are chef's kiss. And then a couple of months before that, they had the Arcane Journal for Mao Ying, the Dawn of the Storm Dragon. Whatever. I'm here for it. Go for it.
As I have said previously, like, my big issue with Old World in general is the new models that they release are very nice and the old models are very old. And there's kind of like this split in realities between like terrible undead horse legs and cool skeleton, it just breaks the immersion for me when there's no continuity within their actual build.
I'm really excited to see what comes out for them in 2026. I wouldn't be surprised if they tone it down now and allocate those resources into some other games. Maybe Warcry, for example, can have some focus now that the old world's cooling down. If they have more in the tank, like in the last couple of years, they've been cooking up another faction or two, would be wild to me. Could happen.
The only people that are really playing this game are the people that already have the models from years and years ago, right?
Yeah. I don't know enough about the old world to know what to ask for next, but I am optimistic they have stuff in the tank, in the Steam tank.
I'm sure they do.
I actually have been curious about it, though, and I know Tabletop Tactics on YouTube have been doing some old world battle reports, and I've been enjoying watching them. I have no idea what's going on, though. I have no idea what's going on. They're saying things, I'm like, huh? Okay. What does
that mean?
But look, Old World goes hand in hand with the most popular game in our region, Blood Bowl.
Blood Bowl?
Blood Bowl. Somehow.
Shockingly popular in our region.
At the very end of the year, towing around the Darkwater Warhammer Quest came Blood Bowl 3rd Season Edition. This was a love letter a couple of months to the old style of gaming. Blood Bowl came out, and I think they've always been doing well. Like the first couple of months, they had individual characters come out for various factions, including some hilarious names. So for a Lizardmen character, we got Unky Punky.
Yep.
For Nurgle, we had Guffle Pussmore. For Dark Elves, we had Jeremiah Cool, spelt with a K.
Of course it was.
That's Chaos spelled, right? Dwarf Hobgoblin was named Rashnak Backstabber. Gnomes had a character, believe it or not. There was a really fun character. I don't know what faction they play for, but Maple Highgrove and Swiftfine Glimmershard, a dual character unit, looks really cute. They look very sweet.
Yeah.
It's a little pixie and their big treant friend.
Very, very cute.
What faction do they play with? Let's see. Elven Kingdoms. Oh, so the Tree Man and Maple Highgrove can be taken by... Oh, sorry. Maple Highgrove, the Tree Man, can be taken by Elven Kingdoms League, Halfling Thimble Cup, or Old World Classics. And Swiftfine, the same, just not Old World Classics. Halfling Thimble Cup is the cutest bloody faction name.
Are they a faction or is this like a game type? I don't know. I think
they are like the leagues. Like each major faction, I think, has like a sporting league.
Yeah.
But with 3rd edition, they did... I'm amazed with 3rd edition. So they released the big box set, Tomb Kings vs. Bretonnians. I see what they did there. But they also released at the same time, individually, the core rulebook, the teams in individual kits, game tokens, the double-sided boards, reference cards, and their Spike Journal, sport magazines, styled faction books. They released everything. Yeah, they released everything individually alongside the collected edition box. What other game have they released that they've done that for straight away? Nothing.
Nothing.
Where is Blood Bowl in the shop? Oh, it's just in other games. Teams. So yeah, Skaven's like Underworld Denizens. The Tomb Kings are the Nehekara Knights. The Norse Blood Bowl team is the Norska Rampagers. Khorne is the Skull Tribe Slaughter. The Dark Elf Blood Bowl team is Nagaroth Knights. There's some stuff. The Lizard Men team are called the Guacamole Crater Gators.
No, they're not.
Guaca, so Gwaka apostrophe MOLI, guacamole.
Oh my god, how did you get away with
Crater
that?
Gators.
It's amazing.
Oh,
I love that.
Man. Oh, yes, I saw this in the shop the other day because a shop sells it here. The Snotling Blood Bowl team, the Crud Creek Nose Pickers. Look up the Crud Creek Nose Pickers.
Why have they got
Right?
boats?
They've got little chariots.
They've got vehicles. What the?
One guy's on stilts. Is he the goalkeeper? But look at what they're throwing.
Know.
They're throwing the little bad moon rocks and mushrooms and stuff.
Yeah. Crazy.
I don't hate it. I really don't hate it. Oh, lordy. And the Halfling Blood Bowl team they have tokens where someone's holding a sausage on a fork. I don't know. Don't know, Johnny.
What is this game? I gotta say though, price. Oh, I mean American prices. That's why. I was like, the prices don't seem bad.
No.
But hold on, let me just do this, and now cry.
Not too bad, I thought, compared to some other thing.
Okay, it's not too bad actually. All right. I was expecting worse.
Their Spike journals because they made a little. You think if you type up Spike journal, it would just take you to the journal, not the team, right? Other games, Blood Bowl. Where's the Spike journals? Are they limited release?
I don't know. I don't know anything about this game, Josh.
I'm trying to figure it out real quick to be one with our community. I can't seem to find the bloody journals. But from what I understand, they have these little in-universe anecdotal articles by sports commentators and sports bet people like in their journals. So it is just a sports magazine. Yep. I think one of the journals is just some Skaven guy. Like I don't know what's going on in this game, but I'm a little interested now, I have to say. Guacamole.
Just for the guacamole gators, eh?
But that's the old world stuff. That's your uncle's game right there. So
that's your skirmish game for old world.
Middle Earth, real quick. It's there. It's kind of on the outskirts of Warhammer. It's not really advertised as Warhammer, but they do
exists.
it. And I like to say I have no idea what's going on, but I have a little bit more of an idea this time. So they had their new edition last year, I think. And this year, 2025's releases, they did have a couple of supplements. And around their supplements, they would release a bunch of new terrain, heaps of characters. Like January, they had the War of the Rohirrim terrain, heaps of characters, cavalry units, big units, artillery. In June, the Armies of Middle-earth list building supplement came out, as well as a matched play guide, if you can believe that. And like a bajillion minis came out at the same time. I think some old, some new. August had a couple of units. September had another supplement, a War of the Rohirrim narrative supplement with Helm Hammerhand and Rohan and Lord Wolf. And they just kept being like, here you go.
Here's a little bit here, and a little bit there.
Every couple of months, they're like,
here
you go. Here's some Middle-earth. Here's a rule book. Here's some miniatures. And they don't look bad, like the new ones, which I'm surprised by.
They don't. Because they've had a few misses in their days.
Yeah. Our Lord of the Rings obsessed friend who has a custom Lord of the Rings tattoo on his arm said, these models look bad. I don't want them. I don't want to play. And he's the biggest fan of the whole Middle Earth universe
Aesthetic.
and aesthetic that I know, and even he was like, nah. So I think they're in a good spot in the last couple of years. I believe.
Just goes to show just how much they're actually working on at once, you know? Like all these games we've talked about over the last 2 episodes.
1 year.
And we haven't even hit the books yet.
Freaking year, and everything has come out that we've been mentioning.
Do you have a statistic on how many new models have come out in the last year?
But maybe I'll tally them up for next year. Well, this year, but spoken next year.
I think that'd be really interesting just to see how many different models they work on.
I think you are onto something there. All right, Black Library. Technically, Warhammer releases.
Finally getting there, are we?
So Black Library had something come out every month. Not every month had a lot. Some months had a lot. I will say that this was the year of the limited editions. So many limited editions.
Yeah, it was.
2 to 3 times more expensive, very special cover that sells out in a minute and then is sold on eBay for like twice the price, at least. To the point now where anytime there's a big release window, the Warhammer website has a queuing system with their attempt at anti-bots and scammer tech, which I don't think they perfected looking at the Kill Team releases. But it's...
You say that, but the Australian release for the Disciples of Tzeentch Battle Force went online 24 minutes ago and is already sold out in Australia.
I didn't realize they were only delayed by a day.
I checked. No, that one went on pre-order for the rest of the country last week.
Did it? Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Quick to our favorite shop, Cap Games. No, they don't have it. So Black Library. So for how they tend to do Black Library releases, they tend to release a hardcover, sometimes special cover as the first time the book comes out. Often the audiobook comes out simultaneously. Months later, they'll release the paperback. And so whilst, we'll say a bunch of books and you might think, well, that's not too many. Keep in mind that for like every one of these books, they were releasing 2 or 3 new versions of previously released books, which made it a little bit difficult. I might have missed a couple, and a couple might be in this list that actually aren't new from 2025. But starting off strong, this one definitely didn't come out in 2025 in writing, but Requiem Infernal was the first thing to hit the scene with its audiobook, Jonny.
Nice, and we leaned into that hype.
We had a character novel for Leontus, the Lord Solar of the Guard. We had the second Chaos Renegades novel featuring Solomon Akara of the Alpha Legion. He's just been confirmed to be getting a sequel novel. And, well, would you look at that? He's holding the Pale Spear, Jonny. Alfarius' spear.
Is he now? Because didn't they kind of have a spoiler reveal of the Pale Spear in one of their model reveals?
Sure did. Okay, I see what they're putting down. New Alpha Legion, Horus Heresy, Primarch novel. Got it. So
he is Alfarius.
So a couple of omnibuses have also been collected throughout the year, including the Dark Coil, which I actually did pick up. I was very quick to go pick it up. But as well, they had an Age of Sigmar Grombrindal novel. He's a dwarf. That's all I have to say about that. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be mean to Grombrindal. I just know nothing. I thought he was the White Dwarf, but I don't know if he is or he isn't. I'll let you know later.
Wait, the White Dwarf is a person?
So, I don't know. You know what?
You learn something new every day.
I am just going to find out now. Is Grombrindal the White Dwarf? Oh, he is. Okay. Okay. There we go. He's the White Dwarf.
Nice. See, you knew what you were talking about.
The White Dwarf got a novel.
Never doubt yourself.
Man, I got to stop doing that. So, some Dark Coil, couple of 40k characters, and the White Dwarf himself got a novel. Next month, Gotrek Gurderson got a novel. He is the guy with all the books that are like Vermin Slayer, King Slayer, Demon Slayer, something else Slayer. He is... He's
he kills people.
Dwarf who has a few companions and is always killing people. He gives me Sigmar's version of Drizzt Do'Urden from Forgotten Realms. Yep. You got me. So Dan Abnett had a re-release of his Double Eagle novel in anticipation of his new Interceptor City novel, which is actually a very well-regarded Aeronautica Imperialis duology, which has them dogfighting throughout a hive city.
That doesn't seem like a very good place to be dogfighting.
And both of those books are extremely well received.
I imagine it would be.
We had the Siege of Vrax novel, another Krieg novel. We had the Black Library celebration stuff come around. Minka Lesk, a Cadian commander, had her novel. I think it's also the same name as her unit, the Special Black Library mini, Hell's Last, as well as the Age of Sigmar, Malineth Witchblade, the Shade of Cain novel. I see her mini everywhere, so obviously wasn't that popular. But Hell's Last sold out quite quickly. There was, because it was the Black Library celebration, a year in advance, they get the community to vote on what novel they would like to have be reprinted. Dan Abnett's Titanicus novel got reprinted. I also managed to pick this up on audiobook. So maybe one day, Jonny, will have a Titan novel.
We do. It's every time they talk about the Dearest Era.
All right. Fair, you got me there. Yeah, it's a lot of DS Era. So
turns out it's a lot.
That was February. A little bit of Black Library stuff. They also did some art books and other re-releases, but I tried to get mainly the new stuff.
Yeah.
Number 3, March. From what I can tell, we only had a book for Callus and Toll, which are Cities of Sigmar, Witch Hunter. I think they're brother and sister.
They released a model alongside this, didn't they?
They did, and I think you can build them as either 2 on the base or have them be separate on their own bases.
That's how I remember the name.
Sigmar is getting a little bit more love, which we'll get into, but for a long time, they only seem to play it safe with things like Gotrek novels, some Stormcast novels, and only like this year started to push out into books that people actually then end up talking about as being good. So that's nice. But we start off with some safe novels there. In April, we got a few 40k novels, Jonny. We got the next Farsight novel. We got that Emperor's Children tie-in Fulgrim novel, which is apparently a Black Templars perspective. I don't know about that. And the next Ahriman book, Ahriman Undying. The next month, May, saw Grotznik, the Mad Doc, get a novel written by one of the Red Gobbo writers that we just covered in book club. I forget which one. The Denny Flowers?
Yes, that sounds correct. Sounds
right.
Very, very familiar.
Grotznik, we had for Sigmar, we had actually several novels. We had Usharan, the Mortarch of Delusion, had a novel. Usharan, my favorite Sigmar model of all time. We had the second Kato Izakaya novel, The Dead Kingdom. Wow, a month after another John French novel. Dude cooked.
Dude had a busy last year.
He did, actually. That's like 3 books, at least. We had a novel for Dark Oath, The Barbarians. From what I can tell, it's a bit of a Vision Quest thing, which really hammers home the more grimdark elements of the Age of Sigmar with just the stuff Chaos Cultists and Barbarians have to push through and deal with just to survive. So that could be interesting.
Sounds like a fun premise.
For Cities of Sigmar, I think her name's Talia Verdras, the main epic hero who is on the Big Manticore. Talia Vedra, sorry, I added letters that weren't actually meant to be there.
It was so close.
The chick who is upon the Big Manticore got a novel called Lioness of the Parch. The Parch is the big city of Sigmar domain that the Skaven Tide, I think, popped out from, so she probably was having a stressful time. We follow that with June, not the Frank Herbert novel, but the month June. I watched June recently.
All right, then.
I think we should consider doing that for book club one time.
But I've already watched it. There'd be too many spoilers.
Did you like it?
I've watched 1 and 2.
I really enjoyed them.
They were neat. Very pretty movies.
For June, Carcharodons had their next novel, The Void Exile, which is somewhat of a sequel. It's got all the characters from the earlier Carcharodons novels, but it's set quite some time later. That was it for June. July, we had the final Dawn of Fire novel. I think that makes book 9 with the Silent King. I don't think he was a protagonist at all. He was just the antagonist. We had, I think this actually is Denny Flowers, Above and Beyond, another of the Aeronautica Imperialis type plots where a very stressful story takes place of a fighter pilot, from what I can tell. But that also apparently got a lot of good receptions. Darius Hinks released a novel to tie in very late with Imperial Agents Demon Hammer, following that guy with the hammer. Cody has?
Following that guy with the hammer.
He has his eagle. Yeah. I have not heard a lick about that novel, so I don't have anything to say about that. Oaths of Damnation came out for Space Marines, which follows the Exorcist chapter. You might find these guys actually interesting, Johnny, because they are, I think, an Imperial Fist successor, or at least it's implied, but their methodology of warfare is to become very mentally robust. What they do is, for their initiations into the chapter, they allow themselves to be momentarily possessed by demons and are then exorcised of the demons by their chaplains and whatnots and their own mental fortitudes, hopefully. And so what we end up with is a chapter of Astartes that are relatively decent at resisting warp corruption, but because they allow themselves to be possessed, everyone's like, not these guys. I don't trust them one bit. But they end up, I think, fighting word bearers in that novel, so that's interesting.
I mean, it does sound interesting.
I would be interested in it, but I am expecting there's a decent amount of bolter porn action chapters, being a Space Marine novel.
Yeah.
For Age of Sigmar, a Soulblight Gravelord novel came out, Queen of the Rose Thorn. As well, on Audible, or audio format, there was 8 Horus Heresy novella collections released. So 8 instances of 3 novellas in one little package, which is nice. At least you know where to find them.
Yeah. And the novellas are always fun because you can get a whole bunch of books in one go.
If I was to recommend anything, go try and find Night Lords stuff. The Night Lords short stories and novellas, from what I've listened to of a bunch of HH shorts and novellas, are my favorite. Sevatar is the best character. That's all I'm going to say. So that's all I have to say. Sevatar is the best character. First captain of the Night Lords. He is a very well-adjusted member of society. In the back months of the year, though, we had the double drop of Void Scarred, the Eldari Corsairs novel, which I've been told has a lot of romance in it, actually, which could be interesting. It's male romantasy time.
Male romantasy.
Why not? And as well, we had a Night Lords novel, The Remnant Blade. And from what I've heard, it stands out on its own besides the classic Aaron Dembski-Bowden Night Lords trilogy. Has its own, decent inclusion to the tapestry of Night Lords, which is really cool. We want different depictions of them. I like that. Following, we had a decent month of October with the Tomb World novel, another Necrons novel. I think it follows a Triarch Praetorian or someone of that sort of space within Necron society trying to stop an invasion. I think I could have misunderstood or misremembered that, but hey, more Necron novels.
Can't go wrong with more Necron. Necron novels are some of the better ones.
Absolutely. Can we go wrong with Abraxia, Spear of the Everchosen?
Oh, did that come out? Did it?
Yes, a novel came out for Abraxia.
Who's that again?
I don't know.
Is that
it's the dragon
that
she's
person
on, right?
we heard about like 7 times in one video?
You're so traumatized by Abraxia.
I really am.
As well, in this little release window, we had Kraken Blood, a Space Wolf novel, and the book we're reading for our book club, Johnny, Dropside Massacre by John French.
Nice.
Wild to me that of all the heresy novels that exist, now we're getting a dedicated Dropside Massacre book. Wild. Took a while, but
Took a
we'll talk
while.
about it in a few weeks. Following, we had The Relentless Dead, another deathcore of Krieg novel, but this time, rather than looking at the macro of the Krieg warfare, it's looking at the micro, a kill team, if you will, of Kriegers in underground tunnels in a little bit of a horror show. Could be interesting. We had Vagabond Squadron, another. I think this is Imperial Navy specifically, not Aeronautica. And apparently it's really fun. The Red Gobbo naturally got another installment in their long-standing works.
This is what, book 6 or 7?
Yeah, 5 or 6, yeah. We had Starseer's Ruin, a Seraphon novel, which took the Black Library community by storm. I think it was the Goonhammer community and the Warhammer community's top pick of Sigmar for the year.
Well, that might have to be a book we read then.
It's written by Adrian Tchaikovsky, who actually writes other books besides Warhammer before writing Warhammer. So it's a little bit of a change of pace, I suppose, from the classic Black Library writing style, if I can say that. The Archmagos novel came out, which is the third or maybe fourth in the Belisarius Call saga, which has the great work where he is with the size of the Emperor on their planet. And then following that, it's the Gene Father, where he has a intellectual match with old Fabius Bill. And then Archmagos, another Call novel, came out after that. Master of Rights came out, which is Brother Genericus of the Ultramarines, Ferran Arios, his novel. That guy with the cool hammer.
This guy.
And except for maybe Starseer's Ruin, all of these recent novels that have come out in the last couple of months got overshadowed hard by Ashes of the Imperium, the first in the new Scouring saga. Post-Heresy, post-Siege of Terror, the cleanup, the hunting of the traitors, it begins. But boy howdy, do I think we got a little bit of things to get through before we pick that one up. We're a ways off.
Yeah, we're a ways off.
And then the year ended in December with a Astra Militarum novel, Steel Tread. It follows, I think, a Lehman Russ tank crew doing their thing. It's probably stressful. Okay. The first one, I think, came out as Destroyer.
Probably.
I think. Anyway, it's a sequel, but it's a sequel to something that was well received. So, hey, why not? And then the Nagash Omnibus came out, which collects some of the old world, the old fantasy Warhammer Nagash novels. Earlier in the year, there was a Sigmar Omnibus, which did the exact same thing. And oh my god, that was Black Library.
There's a lot of books, especially towards the end of the year.
They really had a couple of good distinct chunks of stuff. The first third of the year had a lot of just sort of safe, cozy reads, I feel. The middle of the year had a lot of sequels and lesser known characters, but that last third had just hit after hit of exactly the types of stories people want to read.
Yeah.
What from that list would you like to consider reading in the future?
You got me interested in that Starseer's Ruin. And potentially the Red Gobbo's Last Stand if we get there, you know?
All right.
If they make another omnibus. I enjoyed the Red Gobbo books. They were fun.
I would read more. I would love to see what they've done with Ashes of the Imperium. That actually mainly comes down to the pedigree of the writer Chris Wright, who did all the White Scar stuff and brought them into the stratosphere of popularity with his heresy works. He also did the Faults of Terror and Watchers of the Throne series, which are all Terror-based 40k novels. And I really loved those. I've read them before doing all of this stuff with you. Yep. And the way he weaves the whole political intrigue stuff, the tapestry of characters, makes me really curious to see what he would do with the whole Gilliman and Dawn and post-Siege of Terror stuff. So that would be my pick. Nice. Nice. Johnny, we're coming to the close of Plastic Crack 2025, but we're not completely done. We got to go look at the podium, mate.
The podium.
The podium.
All right, let's do it.
my voice needs to shut up for a sec. You tell me some of your favorite models for the year. Doesn't even have to be in order.
Big vampire on dragon. Let's just put that out there straight away. We had the Fellblade this year as my HH pick for sure. Closely followed by the SATURNINE release. I can't really put any of them specifically, but if I had to, it'd probably be the Praetor. The SATURNINE Dreadnought is very, very cool. All of Darkwater seemed like a really fun idea, and I'd be very happy to try and get a group together that might be able to accomplish that at some point. Maybe split the cost over a few people just to try and like minimize it. It's like $400 Australian.
Only a few dollars.
If I was going to put something down as like a total release wave, I think the best of the release waves was probably Space Wolves or Helsmiths, which I hate to say because neither of them are anything I love, but they were done very well. Because got to bring it back to 40k a little bit, right? And then if I was going to pick a model for 40k for the year, that's definitely a harder bet. But I believe I chose Aethon Shan as my model of the year for 40k. But yeah, that's the quick fire round of what I think was the best for this year.
I love it. So, for moi, my honorable mentions, I have the House Tai Onimoto Coven for Necromunda. I love that cyberpunky Japanese inspired design. It's really cool. Doom Diver Catapult for Sigmar, because that's just a load of fun. Asta Crone, the Shroud Maker for Horus Heresy, because that is one drippy Blood Angel. Just the entirety of the Space Wolves range for 40k, because it was just handled so well. What's the game bloody called? The Old World. For the Old World, I had to go with the Royal Heralds for Tomb King, their end of the year newer model they came out with. For Kill Team, I'm actually giving it to Battleclade. I don't really know why, but something about it really speaks to me.
Cool Kill Team.
For, I guess you could say, a Black Library pick, I have to really hand it to Farron Arios. Something about him I like a lot. He represents the old masters of the chapter units from old, and I like that a lot. My actual top 10, though, in as much of an order as I can, and a mix of this is obviously duh, but also personal picks. For number 10, I went with Underworlds, the Borgit's goblins, Borgit's Beast Grabbers, or whatever it was called, the little goblins. They're so cute.
Oh, yeah, yep.
They're so fun. Coming in number 9, Age of Sigmar pick, Demon Smith on Infernal Taurus. Not the epic guy, just the normal guy. I don't need the Stormcloud stick. Just the normal dude.
Just the normal dude.
Coming in number 8, I have to give it to Darkwater, because Game in a Box with a bunch of minis is wonderful, and I would love to flip the pages of that dungeon with you and the lads.
It'd be very cool.
Yeah, number 7, Old World pick, Yao Ming. What a fantastic kit.
Yep.
What a fantastic bloody kit. In number 6, another Age of Sigmar pick. I went with Mathalia, Oracle of the Abyss. It's a non-binary character, I believe. They were the little puddle of water that drowned me over to the IDNF Deepkin once and for all. I saw that character, I'm like, yeah, that'll do. Number 5, a Horus Heresy pick. That bloody Fellblade, man. It's too good. I'm not even a big vehicles guy, but that bloody vehicle, man. Yeah. Coming in number 3, I have to give the group pick to the Phoenix Lords. Oh, man. I can't even pick one. They're all so good. I love Fugan, but Azamen's a close second if I were to leave you with the whole picking of Lycus. I have Fugan. He's on my shelf, actually. So the fact that he's the only one I own, the fact that Fugan's the only one on my shelf, I'll have to give it to him. He's my boy. In number 2, my 40k model of the year was also Aethon Shan.
Number 2.
I completely skipped number 4 by accident because I was excited about Phoenix Lords. Forgive me. So Aethon Shan and 2, but at number 4, you're gonna hate me for it, boys and girls and they thems. The fucking Victrix Guard. They're so good. They're so well done.
They are very cool.
In particular, the dude with the big banner. Oh. When considering my Space Marine project for the year, there was a contender for just Ancients.
Just Ancients.
How many banners could I fit in? Ancient and Terminator armor. Blade Guard Ancient. Primaris Ancient. Kato Sakaris has a little banner. Tigurius has a little banner. The Victrix has a really big banner.
Yeah.
Make it happen. Number 1, Johnny. You know it already.
Go on.
SATURNINE.
Just SATURNINE.
Just SATURNINE.
The whole box.
The whole box. Just SATURNINE.
It's a good list.
Thank you. There's just too many to not even have an honorable mention. Like I couldn't even not pick them. There's just too much stuff, dude.
Too much stuff.
And already looking to have a glance in the Deli cabinet of 2026. By the time of recording, it's early February. We've already had 500 Worlds with Titus and the Necrosaur. We will be getting the Corsairs v Corsairs, Iron Warriors. Kill Team's going to have Shadow Hunt release any day now. Age of Sigmar's popping off with Maggot Kin. Horus Heresy's going to get the whole freaking Custodian range. Like, there's
so much to come, yeah.
All joy. But that's Plastic Crack Part 2, eh?
Eh?
Canadian came out then. Eh?
Josh, it's been so long since you were a Canadian. Come on.
I know, I'm just joshing you. I made a mental effort to keep that slang in my vocab. Anyway.
But that's it.
Round us out, Johnny.
That's 2025.
Take us home.
Thank you all so much for being with us over this year. And we will see you in the future, welcome. Because we ain't going anywhere anytime soon.
Thank you very much. We will see you soon. We're going to be hitting some 500 World stuff and maybe some list building stuff next. And join us on Discord. Johnny doesn't want to be sitting there alone anymore. Just messing. Look, it's a small community, but we want to see you there. Come and join in before we become immensely popular and everyone wants to join.
We can't sit there and chat rando stuff.
Easy, mates. All right, y'all have good hobbying. Catch you on the flip.